There are stories that spread online not because they are fully verified in every detail, but because they tap into something emotionally familiar: pressure, talent, fame, and the cost of visibility. One such narrative revolves around Courtney Hadwin and a dramatic moment allegedly tied to Simon Cowell reacting emotionally during a televised discussion. In the retelling that circulates across social media platforms, the story is framed like a cinematic unfolding, beginning with a shy teenager, moving through a sudden rise to fame, and ending in uncertainty about what fame ultimately demanded from her. It is presented in the tone of a breaking revelation, as if the audience is being invited to witness something hidden behind the curtain of entertainment television. At its core, the narrative is less about a single event, and more about the emotional arc of modern celebrity culture: how quickly the internet can elevate someone, how intensely audiences invest in their journey, and how easily concern, admiration, and speculation merge into a single viral force. Whether taken as literal truth or symbolic storytelling, it reflects how audiences process fame in the digital age. Simon Cowell and the weight of a public persona. Within this widely circulated story, Simon Cowell is positioned as the emotional anchor, an industry figure known for restraint, blunt critique, and an almost unshakable on-screen persona. For decades, he has been portrayed as someone who rarely displays vulnerability in professional settings, instead embodying the role of a gatekeeper in talent competitions. That is what makes the viral claim of him becoming emotional so striking within the narrative framework. It is not just about tears, it is about contrast. The idea of a figure associated with control and judgment responding emotionally suggests a disruption in the expected dynamics of televised talent culture. In the retelling, this moment is framed as a reaction not only to one performer's journey, but to the broader pressures placed on young artists navigating sudden fame. It becomes symbolic rather than purely factual, representing the idea that even those who appear hardened by industry experience are still affected by the human stories unfolding in front of them. This tension between persona and emotion is part of what gives the narrative its viral power. A small-town beginning and a singular voice. Courtney Hadwin is described in the narrative as a quiet teenager from a small coastal town in England, someone whose personality outside of music was reserved and introspective. The story emphasizes the contrast between her everyday life and the explosive energy she reportedly channels when performing. According to the viral retelling, her musical influences reach back to classic soul and rock figures, shaping a vocal identity that feels older than her years. This framing is important because it builds the foundation of haute to unexpected talent, a common theme in televised competitions. Audiences are often drawn to stories where appearance and ability do not align with expectation, and Courtney is positioned squarely within that tradition. Her journey is not presented as one of industry manufacturing, but of raw expression emerging from an unlikely place. This creates a sense of authenticity in the narrative, even as it is later contrasted with the pressures of commercialization. The small-town origin becomes symbolic of innocence entering a system that is far larger, louder, and more demanding than anything she has previously experienced. The audition that changed perception. The centerpiece of the story is her audition performance on a major talent stage, described as a moment where hesitation transforms into unexpected power. According to the viral account, she begins with visible nervousness, almost retreating from the spotlight, before the performance shifts dramatically once the music starts. The audience reaction is portrayed as immediate and overwhelming, with judges responding in real time to a performance that defies initial expectations. The emotional framing of this moment is key. It is not just about vocal ability, but about transformation under pressure. The narrative emphasizes contrast, the shy entrance versus the explosive delivery. In storytelling terms, this is the turning point scene, the moment where everything changes direction. It is also where the audience connection forms most strongly, because viewers are positioned as witnesses to something unrepeatable. Whether viewed as entertainment history or internet mythology, this audition functions as the origin point of everything that follows, anchoring the rest of the story in a single moment of perceived breakthrough, sudden attention, and the machinery of fame. Following the audition, the narrative shifts toward the speed of viral attention. In today's digital environment, performances that resonate emotionally are rapidly amplified across platforms, clipped into short videos, and reshared across global audiences within hours. The story describes this phase as overwhelming, particularly for someone still in adolescence. Managers, media outlets, and entertainment professionals are depicted as moving quickly to structure opportunities, interviews, and appearances. This is where the tone of the narrative begins to change, from celebration to concern. The same visibility that creates opportunity also introduces pressure, expectation, and constant evaluation. Every appearance becomes part of a growing public record, every performance compared against the last. The story suggests that identity becomes increasingly tied to audience perception rather than personal development. In this framing, fame is not a single event, but an accelerating system, one that requires constant output while leaving little space for adjustment. The emotional undertone here is important. Success is not questioned, but its sustainability is. Creative identity versus industry expectation. As the story continues, a central tension emerges between artistic growth and commercial expectation. The narrative suggests that while the public may associate an artist with a specific style or moment, the individual behind that image continues to evolve. In Courtney's case, the viral retelling emphasizes a shift toward original writing and exploration beyond the style that first gained attention. This is where many real-world artistic journeys become complicated. Audiences often connect strongly with a defining moment and expect repetition of that experience, while artists themselves seek evolution. The story frames this divergence as emotionally difficult, creating internal conflict between authenticity and expectation. The entertainment industry is portrayed as a system that tends to prioritize recognizable success patterns because they are easier to market and replicate. This mismatch becomes a source of pressure, as deviation from expectation is sometimes interpreted as inconsistency rather than growth. In this part of the narrative, the emotional tone deepens, focusing less on fame itself and more on the psychological cost of being seen in a fixed way. Silence, speculation, and online amplification. The narrative then moves into a period of reduced visibility, which the internet often fills with speculation. In modern digital culture, absence is rarely neutral. It becomes interpreted, discussed, and analyzed across platforms. The story describes rumors circulating online about health, exhaustion, or withdrawal from public life, though such claims are typically unverified and often exaggerated as they spread. Social media thrives on gaps in information, and those gaps are frequently filled with emotional interpretations rather than confirmed facts. In this environment, a lack of official updates can generate more attention than active publicity. The narrative highlights how quickly concern can escalate into collective anxiety, with fans expressing worry, creating tribute content, and searching for explanations. This phase of the story reflects a broader phenomenon: the transformation of private life into public speculation when someone has previously been highly visible. It also shows how digital communities can simultaneously express care and amplify uncertainty, often without a reliable boundary between fact and interpretation. The emotional symbolism of industry figures. Within the viral retelling, attention returns to Simon Cowell as a symbolic figure representing the entertainment system itself. His emotional response, whether literal, exaggerated, or interpretive in different versions of the story, is framed as significant because it suggests recognition of strain within the industry. In this narrative context, his reaction is less about individual empathy alone, and more about acknowledgement of a broader pattern: the intensity placed on young performers once they enter public consciousness. Industry commentary often points to the tension between opportunity and pressure, particularly in environments where success requires continuous visibility. The story uses his persona as a lens through which to examine this imbalance. Even if the emotional moment is not universally documented in the way viral posts suggest, its symbolic meaning persists in online discourse. It becomes a representation of an industry reflecting on itself, even briefly. This section of the narrative is less about verifying events and more about understanding why such imagery resonates so strongly with audiences. Audience reaction and emotional identification. One of the most powerful elements of the story is not the performer or the industry figure, but the audience response. Across platforms, users engage with the narrative by sharing personal reflections about burnout, pressure, and expectations in their own lives. This transforms the story from entertainment into a mirror for broader emotional experiences. The idea of being seen, evaluated, and expected to perform, whether on stage or in everyday life, resonates far beyond music or television. Online communities often amplify this connection by creating tribute videos, commentary discussions, and personal testimonials that link the narrative to universal themes. In this way, the story evolves beyond its original subject and becomes a shared emotional reference point. It illustrates how modern media consumption blurs the line between celebrity narrative and personal identity, allowing viewers to project their own experiences onto public figures. This process is part of what gives viral stories their longevity, even when factual clarity remains uncertain. The broader conversation about young talent and public pressure. Beyond the specifics of any one performer or viral moment, the narrative points toward a larger and ongoing conversation about how modern entertainment systems handle young talent once it becomes publicly visible. In an era defined by constant connectivity, the distance between performer and audience has effectively collapsed. Every performance can be replayed endlessly, every moment can be clipped, and every perceived change in confidence, style, or output becomes subject to immediate commentary. This creates a situation where artistic development happens under continuous observation rather than in private, gradual stages. For younger performers especially, this can make growth feel exposed rather than protected, as every step is measured against earlier moments that may have gone viral for reasons beyond their control. The pressure does not come only from industry professionals, but also from audiences who form strong emotional attachments to specific versions of an artist they first encountered. As a result, expectations can unintentionally freeze individuals in time, even as they are actively evolving. The conversation that emerges from stories like this one is not simply about fame itself, but about sustainability, mental well-being, and the responsibility shared between audiences, platforms, and industries. It raises difficult but necessary questions about how admiration can remain supportive without becoming consuming, and how success can be structured in a way that allows growth rather than restricting it. Conclusion and the ongoing nature of the story. At its conclusion, the narrative resists closure. Courtney Hadwin is framed not as someone whose story has ended, but as an artist still evolving beyond the moment that brought her attention. The broader message circulating within the viral retelling is about resilience, autonomy, and the complexity of navigating public identity at a young age. Whether or not every detail of the story is accurate in a literal sense, its emotional structure reflects recurring themes in modern entertainment culture: sudden visibility, intense expectation, creative conflict, and the search for personal grounding. Simon Cowell's emotional portrayal functions as a symbolic counterpoint, representing the human awareness that can exist even within highly commercial systems. Ultimately, the story persists online because it raises questions rather than answers them. It invites reflection on how fame is constructed, how audiences participate in it, and how individuals within it attempt to maintain their sense of self. The final impression is not of an ending, but of an ongoing process, one that continues to unfold both in public imagination and in the real lives behind the narrative.